because it's also a very important tool, yeah? And today, this afternoon, we're going to talk about using authentic materials in the classroom, yeah? So have you used already authentic materials, or do you usually plan lessons using, I don't know, videos or stuff from YouTube, songs? Is this something common practice for you, or not yet? Yeah, okay, that's great, because then the idea of this workshop is for us to look first at what it means to actually use and teach using authentic materials, and how we can do that, but also think together and share some ideas perhaps on more effective ways of doing that, yeah, because sometimes we kind of don't have much time. As teachers, we have a very busy schedule usually, yeah, and mm-hmm. Right. Could you hear her question? Yes, good. So what's your name again? Hilda. Okay, Hilda. So what would you say in response to Hilda's question? So interviews like Oxford videos and stuff, yeah? Uh-huh. Yeah. Sure. So would you guys consider this authentic materials? Yeah? Good. Interesting. So perhaps we could start, or kind of getting very close to the official start. If you could just turn to the person next to you and introduce yourself and ask, so what exactly is, or what exactly are authentic materials? Do you think you could spend some 2 minutes doing that? So first, interview each other, or introduce yourself, do some networking, yeah? Could you guys go together? Definitely, yeah. So it could be considered authentic materials. Sure, yeah, yeah. Because then you know what you could do. Try and define what exactly is an authentic material. How would you define it if you were asked to? So talk together, and then I'm going to ask you to share in the whole group, okay? Okay. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. Yeah. So I think we can kick off officially now. Yeah. So again, once again, guys, welcome to this afternoon's second workshop. Yeah. This one on authentic materials. I am Felipe Emerick. I'm a teacher and also teacher trainer at Cultura Inglesa São Paulo. And it's a pleasure to be here again with you guys. And this afternoon, as I said, our main focus is working on authentic materials. And I decided to call it Teaching for Rio because textbooks, we usually use textbooks to teach, yeah? And textbooks, depending on the book, on the year of publication and everything, it might be a little bit outdated. So perhaps materials or photos. I used to teach once, I taught with a book that brought Whoopi Goldberg's picture. And then I like her, I actually love her, and I remember Ghost and other, Sister Act, for instance, and I had lots of fun. But then I was teaching 12-year-olds, and then I asked her, look, who's she? They had no clue whatsoever who she was, yeah. Just to illustrate, so will I really impact my students if I use outdated materials? Yeah. And today with the internet, yeah, I mean, it's really easy, and we don't need to bring it into the classroom because students, they have their own devices, mobiles, tablets, and other devices, gadgets. So they are constantly exposed to all this material, yeah? So what does that mean to use authentic materials in the internet era? So that's one of the questions we're going to try and answer, yeah? And this concept of using authentic materials more authentically is also going to be very important. So this is the abstract you guys might have read. If you go to Disal's webpage, and then you have the title of the talk, and then you have a short abstract, yeah? And here I highlighted some key concepts that I would like us to discuss this afternoon. So you have, for example, relevant tasks, genuine language use, practical ways. Yeah, so basically the objective of our talk this afternoon is to equip you guys, for us to share some very practical ways of using authentic materials in a way that requires very little or sometimes even zero preparation, but perhaps we could think about it as little preparation, so you're not going to spend hours preparing something, and you're going to bring in the classroom something that is actually engaging for students. So how can you use different materials in an engaging way, relevant way, so that we promote genuine communication? Because after all, it's been claimed, and I strongly subscribe to this view, that we don't teach English these days. What we teach is communication through English, which is completely different, yeah? So we don't want our students to analyze language or to be grammarians or anything like that. We want them to be better equipped so that they go into the world and can communicate using English. And then how can we, teachers, make use of materials that are already widely available for them in order to accomplish this goal? Yeah, so basically, what we're going to try and do is get a bag of ideas so that you guys can leave the session with things you can implement tomorrow, let's say. Tomorrow morning, afternoon, if you're teaching, you could already step in and implement them, okay? Yeah. How does that sound? Good, yeah. And then perhaps we could start by looking at what are authentic materials. Yeah, so that's exactly what you guys been discussing. So what are authentic materials? Would anybody like to share your view? That's what I asked you to discuss a couple of minutes ago. Okay, did you hear her? Could you speak up, please?
Part of the reality of the student.
Okay, but what exactly is it? If you were asked to define, give a dictionary definition, how would you define authentic materials?
That are not there specifically for a student, but material that you can see and listen anywhere.
There you go. Can you guys at the back read well, properly? Yeah, so they are materials that were made primarily not for teaching purposes, yeah? And then we have a couple of examples. They promote genuine information exchange, yeah? And some examples would be songs, books, videos, news articles, etc., etc., etc. So if you take a song, it was not primarily made to teach. For example, there's that very common for us to use in the classroom a couple of years ago at least. So the Signs of the Zodiac, and then there was the song, or hi, my name is Luca, I live on the second floor, yeah, so to teach introductions and stuff. So these are used in the classroom, but they were not primarily thought about or conceived for classroom purpose, yeah, so that's the idea. So when we say authentic material, we're talking about something that was not thought for classroom use primarily. Yeah? So that's the idea. And then why use authentic materials? So what's the benefit?
What I said, according to the reality, the real life for the student.
Yeah.
The student knows.
They're exposed, yeah? It's realistic, it's real life. Any other reasons? To motivate students. So if we bring in video of this very, I don't know, this pop singer they like, you think they might feel more motivated in the lesson to learn the language, use it? Yeah. So I have here a couple of ideas. I'd like to see how far you guys agree with the list. So perhaps first and foremost, because it brings breath of fresh air into the classroom. And then again, using Whoop Goldberg's picture, as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, to teach who's he, who's she, perhaps won't work that much. Yeah, and then textbooks. Today we have very good textbooks that are really thought for engaging students. Yeah, but most of the time this doesn't seem to be the case. And then if we bring in a video or song or many other types of materials that we're going to look at this afternoon, so perhaps it's something new. Students will come to your lesson knowing that you're going to use something that they're going to like, that's going to hook them up to the lesson so that they feel motivated, engaged, and they want to come back to the next lesson as well, as opposed to using outdated pictures or just, videos that were recorded 25 years ago and used to be using a tape format, and we're just, you know what I'm talking about, yeah? But not only this, they, as you said, engage and motivate students, yeah? They also are said to be genuine language model, because you mentioned that, guys, this is how language is used outside the classroom, in the real world, for real communication. So there's language, particularly slang or, I don't know, expressions we use these days that are not in textbooks. And they're not going to be found in textbooks. So what language are we teaching our students? Are we teaching, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, thanks. And you? Fine, thanks. How natural is it? Em português, do we greet each other? Olá, como tem passado? Oh, eu estou bem. E você? Eu também. Obrigado. Do we speak like this? We don't. Yeah. So why is it that we teach this kind of language? Hi, how are? Who says hi? How are you? I'm fine, thanks. And you, these days. I mean, you see what I mean? So perhaps showing different expressions that they're actually gonna encounter outside the classroom, or when they travel abroad. How frustrating is it to hear from a student you've taught for 5-6 years after they've been abroad and come back to say, teacher, I didn't understand a single word they said. So why did I spend 6 years here having lessons with you? Yeah, if I could. Very frustrating for us, let alone for the student. Yeah, so if we aim at genuine language that is actually used for communication, perhaps authentic materials are the best way for us to bring this into the classroom. Yeah, and also there's something I'd like to share with you. It might be familiar. It's the 3 C's. Yeah, the 3 C's are these. This is something very, very, very interesting. I'm borrowing from I'm borrowing from this author. this writer, mission. And then she mentions the 3 C's of authentic materials that are culture, currency, and challenge. Yeah, culture. If we decide to use a video, let's say serious, I don't know, what do teenagers watch these days? Okay, Strange Things, for example. Yeah, if we decide to use a video clip of Strange Things in the classroom, can they learn anything about culture? About culture of different peoples or different cultures, really? Yeah, people who are perhaps the same age as they are, but because they have another language, they live in another culture, they communicate in a way that is different to what we Brazilians would expect. Yeah. Not only this, but also currency. And here, currency. By currency, mission means stuff that is actually said and used these days. Just like I gave you the example of how are you? I'm fine, thank you, and you. This is not used anymore. When it's raining a lot, what we teach our students, wow, look, it's raining cats and dogs. Yeah. Does anyone these days say it's raining cats and dogs? Oh, está chovendo canivete. Do we? No, yeah? So perhaps teaching something like, wow, it's pouring down with rain is much more natural and much more current than what we might find in textbooks, yeah? And not only this, but challenge. Watching Strange Things will definitely be much, much, much more challenging than listen to the recording. What do they say? And then we have a list and we have to take, yeah. So it will involve students and it will require much, much, much more in terms of cognition, so that they have to be cognitively engaged. They have to have some knowledge of the world. They have to, if it's a video, listen and pay attention to the moving image at the same time. So it requires much more, and that's why it tends to engage them much more. Yeah. So these are just some benefits, yeah, to mention a few, of using authentic materials. And then for the activities we're gonna try this afternoon, I will invite you to have in mind, does this activity promote cultural knowledge? Does this promote current language use? Does this promote challenge? How challenging is it? And perhaps I have to grade a little bit because I can't give something too challenging for my elementary students. But if it's an advanced student, then I will have to provide more challenge so that I cater for their needs. Yes, so then I will invite you to embark with me on this adventure through the realms of authentic materials. And what we're going to do is basically we're going to have 6 mini micro lessons, really. And I'll invite you for every lesson not only to think about the 3 C's, but also to think about what materials being used, what the activity is like, what are the procedures, and what I'm teaching with this activity. So what's my aim? Yeah, so let's go again. What's the first thing you have to pay attention to? What material, the material I'm using, then the procedures, how I'm using, so what, how, and why, or what for, what's the aim, yeah? So what material, how I'm using it, and what for, what's my aim, what's my objective. So far so good, yeah? Feel free to take notes if you want to, but I really want you to participate as if we were in class, okay? Feels like home, right? Right, so you know what, how was Easter, guys? Do you have a good, great, lots of chocolate? No? A little? Good. So see, last Sunday I was, I dropped by my mom's, and then she was looking at some photo albums, you know, old pictures and stuff, and then I saw some pictures of the time I was little, you know, 5, 6 years old, and it really made me remember lots of things I'd forgotten, so it reminded me of my childhood days, yeah? And how about you? So what first comes to your mind when you think of your childhood days? And do you have mostly good or bad memories of the time you were a child? Think of yourself as a child. What comes to your mind? Are these good memories? Bad memories. So would you talk to the person next to you for a minute? So good memories, bad memories. If you can give an example. off you go. Yeah. Right. Thank you. Yeah. So overall, mostly good or bad memories? Good memories. Good memories. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So what comes to your mind, Henrique?
Comes to my mind, the first thing that comes to my mind is like all the family together around the tree on Christmas,
Oh, wonderful.
gifts and all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's a gift-giving thing. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
'Cause it's like a different perspective now, like when you're
Definitely.
a child, that's, like waking up on Christmas.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just something really
completely different. The experience as a little kid. Yeah, great. And you know what? I have this friend. Chad. My friend's Chad. I've got this friend, Chad, and he's talking a little bit about his experiences, his memories as a child. Yeah. So what I want you to do is listen to my friend Chad. And then if you can just take a note, are the memories he mentions, are they mostly good or bad? Okay, so just listen to Chad. Are the memories mostly good or bad? You can take a note of one or two examples. Yeah? Off you go. Right, so mostly good or bad memories? A couple of seconds with your partner. So, can you remember one or two he mentions? Right, thanks. So, thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up. Yeah, good. So Chad, my friend Chad, yeah, he's got very, very, very good memories of his childhood days. Yeah, good. And what's this, guys? This is a listening activity. Yeah. So we're using a song. So how many of you know the song? Who sings it? Exactly. So exactly. So say Nickelback. Yeah. Exactly. It used to be very popular. What, some 10, 12. 15 years ago, yeah. And this is interesting. You don't have to bring into the classroom songs that are popular today, because most likely your students will know them, and then they might even know the lyrics from memory. Then your work on languages kind of goes down the drain. But if you bring in a song that is quite, let's say, dated, yeah, they will probably not know it, and this is fantastic for working on memories and childhood memories, or perhaps you can teach used to. Yeah, when I was a child, I used to, do bad stuff and be a bad student or misbehave a lot. I used to tease my friends at school and play hide and seek, can teach plays and stuff. Exactly, I used to be bullied, or I used to bully I used to be the bully, perhaps, yeah, or the bullied one. Yeah. So you can teach used to, you can teach loads of things from the song, and not necessarily do the traditional song activity, which is fill in the gaps, yeah? Listen and fill in the gaps. So, no, why? Be creative, think outside the box, just like you said, yeah, at the start. Yeah. And not only this, but depending on the level, you will teach, you can use the song, but you can also use the song in a different way. Or you can do, for instance, something like this. So guys, now we're gonna watch the video, and then what I want you to do is have a look at what the people are doing. So watch the video. What are they doing? I want you to write how many sentences? 5 sentences like this. Chad is looking at old pictures. Everybody? Chad is looking at old pictures. Say it again. Chad is looking at old pictures. So as you watch the video and you see different people doing different things, take a note of what they're doing, okay? How many sentences again? 5. Off you go. Right, so how many sentences have you got? Can you compare? Yeah, that's what you would typically do in a lesson. Yeah, you don't have to do it now. Okay. So, but then you see, guys, you see the potential, because then you can use only the song itself as listening, or you can use the video, the moving image, and do some activity in which they have to describe something, yeah? Or, depending on the level, that's interesting. What level would you teach this to? Think of basic, intermediate, and advanced. Intermediate, yeah. Why intermediate? This activity, intermediate students, why? Pre-intermediate, perhaps? Because they need some language, right? So perhaps they will already have been exposed to present continuous to describe actions happening at the moment. Or not. You may use this to actually present language to them. Yeah, so they never been exposed before, formally at least, to present continuous for describing actions happening at the moment. You use the video. They will have a go at writing. Probably some might succeed, some others might lack the language, and then you step in and teach the language. So it's a very engaging way, isn't that? So students will be hooked up to the song or childhood memories, whatever, and then you can really teach the language once it's contextualized, once you've presented a situation, a context that allows for that language to be used. There you go. Yeah. If we're talking about elementary students, perhaps really real basic, real beginners, you could work with pictures. So see, these are from the clip. You might remember these. You have to say A, B, C, and D. And then you just have to watch the clip, and as you watch, just number them. So what's the first picture? Oh, D. And what's the second? A. And then from this, you can move on to what can you see? Or they're playing the guitar, or that's their school. So there are, yeah. There's a school, there's a man on the car, whatever. You can teach whatever language you find interesting for that moment, yeah? How about this? What level would you use it with? So first, what exactly do students have to do in this activity? They have to fill in the gaps. Yes, it's a gap fill exercise. But what exactly do they have to? Do you need which is best here to use just the music?